Today, we're gonna have a look at apps. A Minecraft plugin which adds a new and improved GUI system to Minecraft, which, in their own words, feels more like using a website or app instead of a clunky chest GUI or memorize dozens of commands. And that summarizes this plugin pretty well. It adds a modern GUI to the game, which allows you to do and access various things on the server. Like for example being able to set homes and warps, sell some stuff from your inventory, things like that. I will show you what it's all about. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you've not done so yet. The vast majority of people that watch my videos daily are not actually subscribed, so if you could just double check, I would appreciate it so much. So the plugin is called Apps, just Apps. And they see themselves as a next-gen GUI plugin. Now, I partly agree with this, and I will show you and tell you why in a little bit. First though, we're simply gonna click on download, then drag it into the plugins folder of your Minecraft server and give it a quick reboot. It doesn't have any dependencies, you can install Vault if you want to use the economy features, otherwise you will just need the apps plugin and you're good to go. And as soon as we now join the server, we have a little message in chat, which says, "Hello, thank you for trying apps. We've created a short setup guide to help you configure apps however you like." So we can simply go ahead and click on start and you will see it opens a menu. Now this is not your regular GUI. It is basically a hologram GUI and you can use it by simply looking at whatever you want to click on and then left clicking. Just like you would in a regular GUI, but then it is transparent and a hologram. Now I do have to say, I currently have shaders enabled. This plugin definitely was made to be used without shaders. Like you can see, the text is a lot more clear now. You can definitely use it with shaders, but it will all look a little washed out, so you might want to disable them for this. But you can see that as soon as I go and hover over a certain piece of text, it is gonna be highlighted. It's gonna become bold, meaning I have it selected. And if I then left click while having that text selected, we basically click on it, which then opens a new menu. So over here we can set the name of our server. I'm creative like always. I'm gonna call it subscribe because I would appreciate it a lot if you did. We're gonna press enter, there we go. That is now our server name, so we can click on next again. So these are all sorts of different apps that this plugin adds. We got an admin app, we got announcements, homes, warps, teleport, market, so that's where you can sell stuff. We got preferences, spawn, recipes, kits, files, so that's pretty cool. A file editor to edit plugin configs in-game. Then we got Pong, and at the bottom we got the tutorial. Now over here you can enable and disable certain apps by just clicking on the little checkbox in front of them. Now the reason I said in the intro that I don't feel like this is truly a GUI plugin is because it is not easy to add an app of your own. It is not your typical GUI plugin where you can just simply create your own custom GUI. It is still a GUI plugin and it is a very modern one, but all of the apps that you see here currently, that is basically what you get. It still allows you to perform a whole bunch of actions in game, like it has teleport, it has homes, it has warps, and you have markets and spawn and recipes, so there is a bunch, but what is here, that is what you get. Now I actually asked the developer of apps if it is possible to add such an app of your own, and he says that it is in theory possible, you can do it, but you would need to know how to do plugin development. It is gonna require some coding. So you can code them in yourself, but it is not something which anyone can just do without any technical knowledge. With that said, the developer is working on multiple new apps that are going to be added in future updates. One of them being a group chat app, which in their words will basically be a simplified version of Apple Messages. So that's interesting. They're also developing a heads database app where you can easily get heads from players. They're also working on apps for already existing plugins, like for example look perms. So being able to configure something like look perms in-game through these apps. That's pretty cool. And they are also working on an app that allows staff members to create simplified apps of their own. Now, those simplified apps are not really apps in the same way that these are apps, but they would just be simple GUIs that you would see with any other GUI plugin, basically. But of course, all of that is not here currently. So let's have a look at the features that the plugin currently has. For now, I'm just gonna keep them all enabled. We're gonna click on next. Now it allows us to customize apps. So some of the apps you've selected to be enabled have their own custom settings you can configure as well. Now I'm just gonna show you what these apps do by default, so I'm gonna skip through this tutorial. Okay, so this is the start menu. This is what you see every single time you open this menu. Now how do you open it? You open it by simply typing /dot in chat. So /dot, enter, bam. This is the menu that opens up. Over here we get a random post, and this is basically the announcement section. In other words, the server owner and staff can post things to this announcement section so everyone on the server will be able to read it. Kinda like a bulletin board. But the real magic happens here over at the apps tab. There we go. Here we got all of them. So these are all sorts of different apps that you can use to do certain things on the server. Now, because I'm an OP here on the server, I have access to every single one of them, but the plugin is fully permission based. So if you have look perms installed, you can determine with these permissions who has access to what apps. So if you want players to use Spawn, but you don't want them to use the kits, then you can do that with these permissions. Now, most of these apps are really easy to use. The admin app just allows you to change some basic settings, like setting a title, editing permissions, enabling or disabling certain apps, configuring certain apps, and setting a default language for the server. By default, only one is available, but you could translate this entire plugin, make a new language file, and then players can select their preferred language here. But let's, for example, go to announcements, because here we can do some fun stuff. So what we can do here is we can create a post that will appear on the homepage of everyone's apps menu. So let's create a new post. I'm gonna give it a title, subscribe to Kasai Sora, just like that. Then we need to set a post message. So I'm gonna write a message here. If you are a subscriber, you are very cool. Smiley face. Enter. Would you look at that? We're gonna click on add. There we go. We can also delete it again over here if we want by clicking on edit lines. But I think this is fine. So I'm gonna click on finish. There we go. So we have a title, we have a message, and you can even add a call to action button. I'm gonna leave that off for now. I'm just gonna create this post, just like that, which means now as soon as we enter the apps menu, we will be able to see that post. Would you look at that? Subscribe to Kasasura, you will see the date, you will see my username, and then the message I've added. That's pretty cool stuff. Now, of course, this is stuff which is very handy for the admins, but regular players can of course use apps like Homes and Warps and Teleport. So Homes is pretty straightforward. So what we can do is click on add new home, just like that. First, we're gonna go and select an icon. So this is the icon that your home will have. You can literally just scroll through this list, which is really cool and clean. So I'm just using my regular scroll wheel to navigate. Let's go for the fox. I like the fox spawn egg. There we go. And then we need to set a name for the home. Let's do a smiley face. There we go. I don't know, man. And now we're gonna click on save home. Bam. There it is. There's our home. And this is now a home we can teleport to. So if we go to another location here in the world and we then do /dot, and after that we go to apps, we go to home, and then we click, bam, we're back home. It's that easy. Now, you should of course allow every single player to use the Homes app. There's also a Warps app, which basically allows staff members to set warps in their world so everyone can just teleport to them. So if you have a certain shopping mall or a certain village, like for example this one here in the background, that you want players to be able to visit, then this is how you can do that. So let's just go and stand here in the village. We're gonna go to apps, we're gonna go to warps. I'm gonna create a new warp, or we're gonna set an icon. And we can even search, by the way. So I can search for for a villager. And there we go. We can select the villager spawn egg. And then we're going to give it a name, a village. Beautiful. We're going to save the warp. And there we go. There it is. Now everyone that goes into the warps menu will see the village and will be able to teleport to here. There's also a teleport app, which simply allows you to send a teleportation request to another player. Currently, I'm friendless. But in case you're not, you're able to select a player from this list. You can send them a request, they can accept it, and then bam, teleportation is done. Now we also have a market app, and this is basically an auction. So over here we can simply search for items, but currently there is none. But if we go to my offers, and then we go to new offer, we can simply select an item. Then we select my enchanted golden apple. After that we set a price, like for example 10, so it will be $10. Then the quantity is simply gonna be 1, because I only have a single one. And after that we go and click on create, and there we go. Order created. Enchanted golden apple, amount 1. You can buy it for 10 bucks. That's not bad. So let's go and click on continue, and there we go. You can now see my offer, 1 of enchanted golden apple for 10 bucks, sold by Casasora, and everyone will now be able to see this one, and if they have this amount of money, they can buy it. Of course, you need to make sure you have Vault installed for this one to work, otherwise the market is just gonna disable completely. Now next we got preferences, and over here you can set up to 5 favorite apps. So apps that you use regularly, you can set them here. So the preferences, I'm gonna replace it with, let's say, homes. And then the second one I'm gonna do probably market. Market is pretty cool. There we go. And now these 2 favorite apps will show up here on the right side of your screen on the home menu. So if we're in home, look at that, our favorite apps, we can just straight up hop into them, easy peasy. Very, very cool, very clean. Now there's also a spawn app. This is an app that literally allows you to go back to spawn. There it is. There's a recipes app, and this one is really cool. You can simply look up a recipe for something. So we can scroll through this list using the scroll wheel. And if we see something that we want to craft, for example this bed, it will tell us how to craft it. That is so extremely useful. So you can see exactly how do we make it. And of course we can also just search. So when we type, for example, stone in chat, then we will get only items that have the word stone in their name. Like redstone or a stone pickaxe. There we go. That's how you craft it. Very cool stuff. Now besides recipes, we got kits. And this is where you can create a kit that others can then claim. So let's click on a create kit. Then we first gonna set an icon. Gonna look for bread. There we go. Then we set a kit name. It's gonna be the bread kit. There we go. We can set a price. I'm gonna just do 0. It should be 100% free. Then the cooldown is also gonna be 0. But of course you can make this a lot bigger. And then the description. This is the bread kit. Awesome. Looking great. And then of course the kit content. So we're gonna add an item. Select item. It's gonna be the bread that I have in my inventory. The quantity is gonna be 10. Beautiful. Add item. Bam. 10 bread. You can even add a command if you want. And then we go and click on create kit. And there it is, the bread kit. We can click on get kit and there it is. We're just getting bread now. Would you look at that? Now, there are 2 more apps to take a look at. One of them is files. And this app literally allows you to browse files inside of the plugins folder. So this is what my plugins folder currently looks like. We got the apps config, we got Vault, of course, Spark, and then Essentials. We can totally hop into the Essentials folder. And what we can now do is totally go into the motd.txt file and view it. So we can see what the MOTD is. Unfortunately, we cannot edit it here though. But a YML file, we will of course be able to edit. So if we enter custom items.yml and open that one up, you will see there is an edit button, which then allows us to edit this config. So would you look at that? We got different options available. We can completely customize this YML file here. It is really cool. So to give you a very great example, let's hop into the config.yml of essentials, just like that. And if we now go to edit, then over here we're able to change all of these settings. So the OP name color, you can see currently my name color is red because I'm an OP on the server, and over here we have specified it as the number 4, which is red. If I would like to change it to, for example, dark blue, we can just change it to 1 and then we do save, and after that essentials reload, and then I say hi again, and there we go. It's changed. All in game. So that is some awesome stuff. And then last but not least, we got Pong. And Pong is literally Pong. We can play Pong this way. But the fact that we're able to play this inside of a GUI is kind of insane. Okay, I think I'm winning. I'm almost there now. Come on, go up. Oh, there we go. Yes! Next level tactic. Okay, I'm not that great at this. It is especially cool to see how responsive this GUI actually is and how much is possible with it. Like, I'm kind of blown away I'm able to play this inside of a Minecraft GUI. And it just shows what this plugin is capable of. Now, currently, the only way to open this menu is by typing /dot. That's how you open it. The developer has told me that they're gonna work on a system where you can put this GUI static somewhere on a wall, for example, so you can simply navigate it through there. Currently, it is only accessible through a command, but that will change in the future, so also very cool stuff. And while I definitely feel like it would be very, very cool if we could add GUIs of our own, which again, being able to add simplified GUIs is something that they're working on, so we might see that coming to the plugin soon. I simply think this plugin has a lot of potential. It is very clean, very modern, and if they add a static GUI that you can put anywhere, together with the ability to create simplified GUIs on your own, I think this could be an absolute game changer. And that's it for today. Do make sure to subscribe to the channel, join my Discord. Thank you so much, channel members. And then I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. See you later. Bye bye.